Can y'all
Hey,
hear me?
welcome everybody. It is Wednesday night, off night for us here. This is Everything Titans, the Tennessee Titans podcast on NGSC Sports. Uh,
Quick snap. Henry, he's going to pass it. Touchdown. Touchdown Titans. There are no flags on the field. Tennessee has pulled a miracle. And that's good. Picked off at the 24 by Myers for the touchdown.
Yeah, that's going to be a quick answer to an incredibly terrible, long question. Just continue to stay consistent and focus on improvement.
yep. Everything Titans, of course, we're on Facebook at NGSC Sports. On Twitter, I will not call it X, at NGSC Sports. YouTube at NGSC Sports. Like it, subscribe. Remember the website is ngscsports.com. You catch all of your current content, quick overview. John, of course, now going all over the place. He's at Merrimack College covering Merrimack hockey. Merrimack sweeps weekend series over St. Lawrence. Gabby Hurlbutt in the press box at Connecticut. They lose a heartbreaker to South Florida up in Connecticut. And of course, I give you the AAC football scoop. Race for the conference title still wide open. All that and more on NGSCsports.com, where we never stop. It is Tennessee Titans, all Titans tighten up podcast here on NGSC Sports. I'm your host, of course, Rob Garcia, joined by my co-host, cousin Antoine. What up, cuz?
Hey, what's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Loud and
Oh,
clear.
okay, all right. Just making sure it wasn't muted from the headset.
Loud and clear. Of course, cousin Antoine, a piece of my heart, a real big piece of my heart, my little brother, little bro Zoe. What up, bro?
What's going on, everybody? How's it going, bro? How's it going, cuz? Ready to talk about this? Ready to talk about this interesting bye week we've had here down here in Tennessee with the Titans and all the
Yeah.
decisions and things that have happened and occurred and made. Yes, yes.
A bye week. The bye week is a time to reflect. The bye week
I
is
thought it
a
was time
time
to
for
recover.
the,
My
the
bad.
bye week. No. Go, roll with me if I can remember.
Yeah. No, no, no,
The
no. I was just thinking about the
bye
past
week,
couple of years.
bye week is a time for the team to unite and get together to rally around each other. Bye week is to go over film and see what went wrong, or in short, the bye week is the time to get your shit together. Basically, well, of course, we're talking about teams that don't have their shit together. That's why. And in this case, Tennessee Titans are one of those teams that don't have their shit together. But usually the bye week doesn't come with a lot of fanfare. It definitely doesn't come with a lot of news. I have a little, change here or there, but it's work on the stuff, get a little better. Anyway, that didn't happen this week in Tennessee. We woke up. I remember woke up or whatever the hell it happened when AJ Brown got traded to Philadelphia, and we was all kind of like, "Yo, what the just happened?" And so it happened again. Uh, Kevin Byard, of course, from Middle Tennessee, third-round draft pick of the Tennessee Titans, traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's got to be one hell of a dream for Byard, of course, because he is a hometown Philly boy. So he's going back home. So, you know, a lot of Titan fans on the show here in Nashville and across the country have expressed their feelings about this. And that's what we're going to do here tonight. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the bye week and where do the Titans go? What happens now? There are other rumors, there are other things to talk about, but right now it's Byard. Byard's gone. So, I mean, you know, it's done. You know, and you and I were talking before the show, like I was saying, you know, how much this has to do, the Byard move, how much this has to do with Byard, the $14 million hit, I believe, that they would take next year. Were they going to pay him that? I seriously doubt that. But Zoe Bradford, Byard's gone.
Yeah, Byard's gone there. I guess what I'm frustrated about, I guess part of it is only because it's just too soon. The fact that he's going to Philly where AJ Brown is, and now we got the Atlanta Titans, and now we got the Philly Titans. You got AJ Brown, now they got Byard, they got Marcus Mariota, they got was it Zach Cunningham or no Zach Brown? They got another one. They got another linebacker that was with us before. Yeah, and so I hate to see Byard go. He was such a pillar of the community. They called him the mayor of Murfreesboro for a reason. He may be from Philly, but this Middle Tennessee became home to him. And so to watch him leave and to watch him be shipped out, you know, it stings a bit. I'm not sure. I'm definitely not happy with the compensation. We did get a player back for him. So the whole trade spills out as we traded Kevin Byard to the Philadelphia Eagles for a replacement safety. I can't think of his name at the moment. And a fifth and a sixth round pick in the upcoming NFL draft. And so compared to other trades, supposedly that's supposed to be pretty good. But, you know, how you feel about it, Antoine, with you're sporting you're honoring Byard there with your jersey. So go ahead and tell us what you think on it.
I mean, Byard was one of my dudes on defense. I'm wearing his jersey. So I like the trade. I was happy with the trade, and I'm happy for Byard. He's on a team now that has a chance to compete and win a title, you know, because he's had a great career so far. But I like the trade because it shows that we're now, and in some aspect, even though, you know, the coach might disagree, we're looking at the future. And I had harped about plenty of times that we needed draft capital for next year's draft. So I'm happy with the trade, and I will say that I will not be satisfied unless at least one more occur, whether it's Henry, Autry, Burks. We can talk about that, but I like it, but I need to see another one.
So the guy we brought in, Terrell Edmonds, plays safety. He's another pretty good player. What's that?
Another one. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming from Antoine because, you know, what he just said makes sense. But, you know, a lot of people, you know, Titan fans are reeling like, damn, because, Byard's 6 years. Byard's still in his prime. He's going to a Philly team where the secondary's banged up over there. And I really don't care how banged up they are. But at some point, Byard's going to become the starting safety over there down the stretch. And if Philly adds that. So, by the way, Philly sent a clear message, right? So Philly's like,
They're trying to win.
We came this close, right? If you think we finna sit here and waste fucking time wondering what we should do, no. So give them credit for doing what they had to do and getting a premier safety, one of the premier safeties of the NFL, and Kevin Byard. That's what he is. By the way, I meant to tell you guys, think about this. We haven't had the opportunity because in order to see, like Blaine Bishop, right? He was no star coming out of high school. He was no star coming out of college, none of that. But you see how he shined in that Titans defense back in the heydays. And Hitman was a big part of that defense. Why? Because he played around a couple of other guys that were pretty damn good on that defense, right? So Byard hasn't had that chance. So we haven't had the opportunity. We haven't had the opportunity. We haven't had the full opportunity to see his full potential. Let's see what happens in Philly.
Have we not seen his full potential?
No.
Recently,
I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that. I said it the wrong way. What I'm saying is,
in these recent years,
look at what he's been able to accomplish here without having that winning.
Without a Samari Rolle, without a Marcus Robinson.
Right. Now he's going to go somewhere where he's got other guys.
Keith Bullock.
Right. Where they can pull their weight, right? So what does that do to a player? It makes his ability shine. If he was able to do that much in Tennessee with that little, let's see what he can do now.
It almost sounded like you were trying to say that, since we got Blaine Bishop from the Philly back in the day, we're paying them back and sending them back. Thank you.
Hey, there was a time.
I know history, so he brought up the Hitman, so I talk about the Hitman.
I think it was on
we got him from Philly.
Listen, I think it was on. I don't want to forget. I think it was on News Channel 5 this morning. This woman was hurt. She was hurt over the trade. She was like, well, why couldn't it be that other guy? What's the name? The guy next to whoever said Fulton. She said Fulton. That Christian Fulton guy. How come it couldn't be him? He ain't worth the damn to us. I was like, oh.
He got to be playing like something where somebody wants him. I don't think he has any trade value at this moment.
But right now it's the value. Speaking of trade value, right now it's the value that you get for trading Byard now, because this isn't some off the planned route trade out of nowhere. There's a reason for this trade. There's a reason that it happened now. There's a plan going on in Nashville, and you don't have to be a brain surgeon's kid to figure out there's a bigger plan going on. That Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel have a bigger plan going on, and we're going to talk about that here in the next hour or so.
So I want to touch on, because we got a player back in that trade, Terrell Edmonds, safety, out of Virginia Tech, and so he was one of those twin brothers. He had a twin brother that also played for Virginia Tech that got drafted. He's supposed to be pretty good, and he's supposed to be pretty good in run defense, struggles in coverage. I imagine that when he finally gets on the field, he'd probably be more strong safety than free safety. That kind of swings. You got Molden coming back this week. Molden, full practice. So imagine that it'll probably be Molden and Hooker in the defensive backfield as the safeties to start the game. And then, of course, you got Shaheem Carter, and I think can't think of the other guy's names, Mike Brown or whatever. So they got some players back there, and I think that's also the way what Vrabel's trying to sell is that this not necessarily meaning that we're shipping off everything and that we're in fire sale mode, that we're still trying to win, but they believe that they have some pieces behind him that based off of what he's done this year, which Kevin Byard he's been beat a few times this year. He's been absent. Like I love Kevin Byard, and part of that's what's going on in front of him, and just being on the and having to deal with that contract situation in the off season. And it's just maybe not the same vibe as it used to be, but he's gone now, and this is who we got. We got Terrell Edmonds supposed to come in and help us out the rest of the season. The 2nd and 5th round pick, they say they could parlay up to a 4th round pick if you paired them and traded. So we'll see.
Well, let me help you. Let me help you real quick. That way we ain't got to do this too many more times. That way we ain't got to do this too many times the rest of the year. Edmonds ain't gonna help, okay? He ain't gonna help. Ain't gonna help. I mean, that's just it. You just, it was the time to make it. It was made, it was done, but it's not. And what's the name? Who just posted that Titans claim defensive back of Wallace off waivers from Arizona first. So now you got to fill holes now. You're not gonna, you can get 3 guys and they're still not gonna add up to Kevin Byard.
No, we're not talking about adding up to Kevin.
No, I get that.
But we are still talking about replacing some production. Now there's Kevin Byard. There's Kevin Byard, the mayor of Murfreesboro. There's the all-pro player, the mystique that is Kevin Byard, and then there's Kevin Byard, who I love, hadn't really had the greatest season so far. And this is not the first time he's had like a little down season. He had one down season, but he bounced back. He was upset with how his play was going, so he's probably going to go to Philly and try to prove a point. But this guy Edmonds, he was a former 1st round pick. He's got plenty of playing. He's had plenty of playing time. He's played. He started with 70-something of his 86 games played. He played with Pittsburgh for like 5-6 years, whatever. And so, hopefully, he comes in and helps out. But he's a temporary player. His contract expires the rest of the season. So to the point of freeing up that money for next year. Now we have the second after the Kevin Byard trade. We have the second most projected, the second most available cap space going into next free agency. So we can talk about that later on when we get to the future aspect of it. Antoine, you said you wanted to see other trades. Trade. Henry.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, what's up with that?
How bad do you really want to see that Henry trade?
If we get a 2nd or 3rd round, then yeah, I want to see it.
What if that Henry trade is to currently the most interested team in Henry, the Baltimore Ravens?
We're not doing anything this year. I do not care. I'm about rebuilding and getting better and stacking as many drafts picks as you can to rebuild this shitty ass roster.
So talk about yes, okay. I'm salty. I just don't want to go to the Ravens. I'd rather it be somewhere else. But if we get a 2nd round pick, maybe
I'd rather he don't go anywhere, but he got to go somewhere. And what's going to happen when he goes somewhere? I don't know how much he got left. Anyway, because that boy done took a pounding through the years. Although he could be a nice rental. Wallace and the team's co-leader.
Because here's the thing: we get nothing. If we let him, because he's going into the last year or whatever.
I get that.
And same with Byard, we get nothing if they play out the year because teams know we are going to release them.
Yeah.
Or just let their final contract play out with the 1 more year. So this is the time now. It's prime opportunity. And too bad Tannehill's hurt, but we can get rid of him too.
Now he can go. Tell us about Wallace.
Oh, I don't know anything about him. I'm just posting what I'm reading right now.
Tell us what's up. Not everybody's got the chat.
Yeah, so Titans claim, I guess he's a safety, Kevon Wallace off waivers from Arizona. And Wallace this was a bit of surprise since Wallace was the team co-leader in interceptions. I don't know the number. I have to look up the stat, but he had in passes defended, but he has 43 tackles so far.
Hey, let's talk about that. So he was the team leader in tackles.
And passes defended.
And passes defended. It's a surprise. The Arizona Cardinals suck. they ain't got no Kyler Murray. He's maybe be back a couple weeks. They were already trashed. They ain't going nowhere. I don't know why they even bring Kyler back this year, but gotta see if he can do anything. Whether or not they're gonna need to go draft another quarterback next year. But who's running the show down in Arizona? Good old
Monty. What's his
Monty
name?
Austin Ford.
Monty. Yeah,
Former player personnel. So surprise release was it? Is this conspiracy? Has there been some tampering involved here? What's going on? Mysteriously out of nowhere, Kavon Wallace gets dropped.
Yeah.
Conspiracy.
Right.
Who else do we want to see on the move? Who else?
No. Wait a minute. Talk about the effects, because it's going to take us into the decisions that are being made now. A Henry trade, first of all, man, you already know the show in Nashville is going to get shitloaded, boy, with calls and hate and emotions and all kinds of shit,
Yep.
I don't know what a lot of people thought the moment the Titans drafted Henry. I wasn't sure. I know what he did in college, but I wasn't sure. And then obviously, as any Titan fan, I was like, damn, I'm glad they drafted his ass. That's for damn sure. But it's going to be a big loss, but it signifies change. Joe was talking about the other thing that, for example, Vrabel, Joe, you said Vrabel's made the decision on a left tackle?
Yeah. So the Andre Dillard, the move that I'm sure keeps Rand Carthon up at night.
He had to try, though. But yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Try. I'm sure it keeps him up at night. Yeah. How was that contract? $30 million, 3 years almost? Go ahead.
But for the life of me, though, yeah, they got their replacement. But for the life of me, why won't they give the rookie a try at it? The position he played. But okay, I'll go ahead.
Jalen, the rookie, you're talking about Jalen Duncan.
No, not him. The left guard, Sharonsky.
Oh,
I'm saying to just say you're not going to even try him out at all. To me, that's
because
I don't like that line of thinking. You have to be open when this line is as bad as it is. You have to be open to all possibilities, and you're already closed off one.
So here was the talk. So first,
I don't like the thinking.
And the line is bad. By the way, the line is bad.
So here's what I think they're thinking. As I said, they've made a decision that the Andre Dillard experiment is over. They're going to put in MPF, Nicholas Petit-Ferrer in at left tackle. And, as everybody, if you hadn't been paying attention out there, Titans world, MPF missed the first 3 or 4 games of the season for gambling on premises.
That BetMGM.
Yeah, so
sports,
bad decision when we was dependent on him already, and that's how we put in Chris Hubbard. Chris Hubbard's been holding the job down, and so now he comes back. He ain't got nowhere to go on the line. But fortunately for him, Andre Dillard has been arguably worse than Dennis Turnstile Daly last year. We go Turnstile Daly and the Daily Turnstile, and then we go call him Andre Duddits.
So the answer to the question of can it get worse? Yeah.
Yeah, it can get worse. I think it can get worse. I never thought it could get worse than Dennis Daly, but apparently it can get worse. It can always. What was that movie? There are things much worse than death. So MPF is coming in. The talk was last year was that potentially, in the future of actually moving him over to left tackle. Well, Lawan, they drafted him. There's like they select his traits. They saw the potential. They saw the potential. They end up starting. Been one of the most, I guess, for a rookie, one of our most stable linemen last year. And he played all the games. And then the thought was that potentially when Lawan moves on, which ended up being earlier than expected because of injury, that he moves Swift over to the left. That looks like that's what they're going to try and do. And so I imagine they're going to give him a shot at this. And to your point of moving Skoronski over, if they they want to keep Skoronski where he's at, and then if MPF don't work out, hopefully, I guess they're hoping that we'll get to the QB conundrum, that a QB situation works out, then maybe they go draft a left tackle next year if Nicholas T. Ferrer can hold it down. Maybe that's what I think. Maybe that's what I think they're thinking. But
I'm just saying it's asinine to not even. You can always put him back at left guard if you know he can play left guard with his small sample size. He's played it well.
You put him at left tackle, and then you put Dylan Radins at guard. Since they don't want to play Radins at tackle. They're trying to get what they believe their top 5 linemen on the field at the same time. And MPF can't play inside.
Yeah.
He's a tackle.
Yeah. All right. I just hope it works. But I'm just saying that to come out and say that you're not going to even try it. That's all I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's closed-minded mentality.
Well, to the degree of what we're getting ready to talk about next, I'd rather it be this way. I'd like to see Skoronski give a try at left tackle, but I'd rather it be this way and have a potential of not having a hole there where they can get to whoever our quarterback is going to be right up the middle immediately. And
right.
let's talk about
QB.
Yeah,
who's our quarterback going to be?
Which is where we are. Where we are now. I mean, I go back to the Buyer trade. It didn't just happen out of nowhere. It's not happenstance. Mm-hmm. It happened for a reason. It happened for a couple of reasons, especially when you traded a guy that still has the ability that he has. And then you talk about possible other moves. Then you're talking about Ryan Tannehill. Listen, Tannehill, he's not going to be back next year. It wouldn't matter if Tannehill was healthy as a horse all year long. He wasn't coming back next year. He wasn't going to get paid next year. So now he's hurt. And you're making these moves, and I start thinking to myself, did Carthon and Bravo have a conversation? Or are they having a conversation? I was telling Zoe, Antoine, I was saying, have they had a conversation basically along the lines of, you know what? Fuck it. We can't say it publicly. We can't say fuck it publicly, but fuck it. You know, we send Kevin home. We get what we can for him. See what we got in the works for Derek. We wasn't gonna sign Tannehill, Ryan.
Well,
put him on the shelf, and let's see what the two guys got.
Well, Braves said when we first went on by, one thing he said was that some of the Titans' problems may not be fixable. So that's kind of him slick. That's as close to publicly admitting that it's time. Yes. That's probably as close. That's exactly it. That's publicly as close to getting to waving the white flag. The surrender. We surrender. So he's still preaching this. This decision wasn't about moving on, but this next decision. Now we got to talk about this quarterback. We know Tannehill is hurt. We know Tannehill. There's a good chance that Tannehill may not play, although it's starting to look like the way Vrabel's still pushing this. When Tannehill comes back, he's going to play. Doesn't sound like he's closing up shop, even though they're preparing two of the quarterbacks to play. So let's go ahead and frame this real quick. So Vrabel came out at the beginning of this week. He already said that he was going to have both quarterbacks getting ready last week as much as they can. Traylon Burks was full participant last week in practice for them, so he's going to be coming back as well. And so they all practiced, took turns, not really with a game plan, not really prepping for Atlanta, but just trying to see who's the quarterback going to be. And then so the first press conference that Vrabel had this week was a discussion it was not a discussion, but basically it's him saying that, we're going to give both quarterbacks are going to play. We're going to give both of them a try. Didn't really go into detail of how that's going to work out. And then Ian Rappaport, the rap sheet, reports that this morning, he reports that about 6:30 in the morning, I woke you up with that message, Hudson, with that tweet that ruined your sleep. Look at his face, y'all. Look at his face. I fucked his sleep up this morning. I didn't even mean to. My sleep was fucked up. But when I saw it, I was a little bit frustrated that it was reported that Will Levis, their Titans are supposedly preparing Will Levis to start. And so my thought is like, I don't think that's a good idea. I think that if you're trying to see what you got, let Malik. I really want to see Malik get one more shot, actually starting the game with week prep, and actually see what he can do. If you have a first bad half, yank him. But you really want to protect. I think it's a better idea to protect Will Levis by letting Malik play, letting him go through his pain, give him a whole full game. Let's make sure this offensive line thing is going to work out. You don't want to put Will Levis in there with offensive line that can't protect him. Then he's not he can move, but he's not that type of quarterback. He's not going to dip out and duck out and run unless it absolutely calls for it. You run the risk of damaging him. Injury, we're talking about shell shockness, developing bad habits. If the goal is to move on, and this is where I'm kind of suspect. If the goal is to move on and see what we got in the future with these quarterbacks, then it made sense to give Willis one more full shot. That's it. Then it don't work out. Move on to Levis and give him the rest of the season, and let Tannehill be the backup or whatever, or Malik be the backup. I think Tannehill be the backup, and go ahead and cut Malik if that's the case. Like if the Malik Willis experiment is done, let the man go free.
Why ever since training camp, Levis got hurt, and people say, well, then Malik got the number 2 spot by default because Levis got hurt, and he didn't want to name a number 2 guy. Even as the season started, he didn't want to name a number 2 guy. Now, the assumption, of course, is Malik, and now reports that they may be preparing Will Levis to start. You know what? Instead of looking at it from that side, look at it from the other side. Is there something that the Titans see? Is something that the coaches see in Will Levis that gives us these rumors, these reports, these feelings that Levis is more prepared than, I don't know. I mean, still a rookie to me.
Yeah, and it's concerning that he wasn't able to beat out Willis for the backup job before he got injured, right? Only thing I can think of, well, here's 2 things. They did move up to get him in the draft. You got to see what he got at some point. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be this game, but you have to see what you got in him. For the greater good of the team and the draft class next year, how these 2 quarterbacks perform for the rest of the year influences how we draft next year. So, but to answer your question, Ralph, I think that maybe they just assume that instead of taking, because Malik has some insane high sack percentage, right? Maybe they're just going to assume that he's going to throw those balls away instead of taking the sacks. And as such, your offense will be in a shorter down and distance to get the first down.
So, like we talk about these sacks, yeah. I went back and looked at the footage, again, the Ravens game, those 4 sacks they took. Three of them he couldn't get away from. Two of them for sure. One of them he could have got the ball away on full. So he got sacked 4 times. What the other two?
When you think about that one game, so yes, you can make the argument, but I'm sure they're looking at it through the lens of whether it's fair or not. They're looking at it through the lens of all the games that he's appeared in, including his first season.
And that Malik Willis has not shown us enough, period, through this time to have enough confidence to.
Enough is the key word. Enough. He hasn't.
But my thing is,
here's what I told Zoe. Yeah. Had that play call on 3rd and 1 been a quarterback sneak right up the middle, Malik scored a touchdown, we're not even having this conversation. He's probably starting this game. We're not talking about him holding on to the ball because those 2 sacks don't occur. Which Zoe said, looking at the tape, really, he probably could only get rid of it one time. So, yeah, what was your point, Zoe? But I'm just saying it's just crazy how things work out.
It works out.
The anatomy of a play call.
And that's why if you recall our last show, we were extremely upset, talked about it, how upset we were and disappointed in how that game ended for Malik. Because not only did we thought we wasted an opportunity to separate himself, what it appears like, not only did he waste an opportunity to separate himself, he set himself completely back. Or everything that they was preaching and talking about Malik and all this growth is a completely fluff, blowing us full of fucking smoke. Like if that's the case, if he made as much progress as y'all thought he did, enough to hold Will Levis, who was supposed to be the second coming of fucking Christ for this organization, the way they talked about him when they drafted him, he's gonna come and take over. He's gonna take Ryan Tannehill's job. He couldn't even win the backup job. He couldn't even win the backup job before training camp. He couldn't win the backup job before preseason, before he got hurt. The way they talked about him, he came from a pro system. He played against high level competition. He played in SEC, the SEC. But he couldn't beat out Malik. And so then they blow all this smoke about Malik's progress and everything, and you throw him into a game, and yes, I got some emotion about this. I'm a little bit pissed off.
Me too. Though
being a black quarterback,
he didn't get a fair shake.
You throw him into a game while you're down, while you're losing, you're down. The offense ain't really moved anything all game long. Line can't block. You're on the road in London, and everybody knows that everything you got to do every time you drop back, you got to pass. That most of the plays are supposed to be pass plays because you're down. You're in the fourth quarter. You got to come back, and not only that, you ain't really got no timeouts because coaching cost them a timeout or 2 in the third quarter or something like that.
Yep.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
So this is the situation you came in. You blew all this smoke up our ass all offseason talking about pumping up Malik, and this is why he's going to be the backup quarterback, and Levis is not, and he's made all this progress. And you throw him into this shit show that's going on in London, and then the offensive coordinator doesn't call a run on 3rd down and fucking 1 on the 1 yard line, doesn't call the right play, and now he's completely we got to bring in Levis. We got to bring in Levis. Malik is not it. Like, y'all blew all this smoke. Everything you said, all this shit you said in the past is crock of shit right now to me. Because if you're going to really go with Levis and then don't even give Malik another chance. If you're going to go with Levis, let Malik back up Levis until Tannehill gets healthy. You keep preaching about fucking Tannehill and his trash ass arm and his trash performance. You keep talking about Tannehill. Let Tannehill back up Levis the rest of the goddamn season. Cut Malik loose and let him go find life elsewhere.
So I got a question. So if Tannehill is hurt, if he gets hurt, he plays and gets hurt and out for the season and then hurt going into next year, is his salary guaranteed? I'm asking. I don't know.
He has nothing on the books for next year.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
No. That's why I was saying earlier, it didn't matter what he was going to do. He wasn't going to be a Titan next year.
Gotcha. Okay.
He
Okay.
wasn't gonna be a tight neck.
And at this point, based off of this shit, based off what we're seeing, I want don't get me wrong. Will Levis is on my team. He may be the quarterback of my team come Sunday. And I will support Will Levis and I want him to succeed. But what you can't do now, you can't put Will Levis in there to start and go back to Malik at any fucking point in time.
And then it's talking about he may alternate
the rest of the way.
He said they both gonna play, Joe.
No. Here's how crazy. So Vrabel was pissed. Vrabel was pissed off at the press conference today because the news got out, and the first thing they asked him was like, "So Levis gonna start?" It's like, I didn't say Levis is gonna start. And then later on in the press conference, he's talking about I could play. Both quarterbacks are gonna play. I may have. Trying to ask him how is that operation going to look like? Well, I could. They may alternate plays. We may run the quarterback in the game. We may trade to swap them every series, every play, every couple of series. I don't know. There's many different ways it could work out. But I imagine both. If Ryan can't play, I imagine both quarterbacks will play. And also, Vrabel also said in that press conference that Ryan Tannehill. I hadn't seen they ain't gonna tell us, but I need to see the injury report. But Ryan Tannehill supposedly may have gotten a little bit of work in at practice at the end of practice. So that's what he was saying before practice, because the press conference happened before practice, and we might get Tannehill a little work in because Tannehill did the press conference today with Vrabel, so he's still pushing Tannehill. So we don't who the fuck is the quarterback going to be? Like all this shit show that was going on this week with. It's going to be Levis. It's going to be Willis. Aaron Rappaport's report. You snapping off at the media and snapping off. Man, he bit Jared Stillman head off. So he's like, you never think like me, Jared. You never. If you want to think like me, you want to figure out think the opposite. And he said, it said something about being a grown man. I'm like, golly, you got within him. Like you all touchy and shit. Like brave. Pull your shit together. And figure out this QB situation. For all we know, Ryan Tannehill gonna fucking play on Sunday.
I think he's hurt, man. Is he?
If Tannehill's talking, go ahead, Hudson. Yes, please.
No. I just think it really don't even matter. Even if Tannehill still play, this team sucks.
He's still pushing Tannehill. Why is he still pushing Tannehill?
You have to see what you got in the young guys. But even if you don't want to, I still think we picking. The way I feel about this team. We're picking in the top 10. Even if Tannehill starts the rest of the season after the Atlanta game.
Hey, we're not that far away from the number one pick as far as
Yeah, so Tannehill's talking about his tightrope surgery is holding up nicely. And that because of the tightrope surgery and how it occurred and how it distributed the weight differently. That it seems to be healing faster. He can feel it day by day, and that's what the tightrope surgery is supposed to be able to do: is allow you to recover faster from a high ankle sprain. And so he's no longer walking with a boot on his. He had some type of little copper fit type arm wrist thing that you put it on around his ankle, whatever. That's what it looked like he was walking around in today. And Vrabel's still pushing this Tannehill stuff. So, and question is, talk about the future. How much is Tannehill? I mean, how much is Vrabel jeopardizing him? Like right now, he has the power. Right now, his seat ain't warm, but he keep pushing this Tannehill shit. Tannehill touched his field, and we ain't seen nothing about the quarterback, and we still end up with a dudded ass record. And you don't push Tannehill, and we ain't made the playoffs. You know what? That seat might get a little warm next year, depending on his performance. Really fucking warm. So he need to be careful about the decisions he make and how he plays this situation, because they brought in Rand Carthon fired John Robinson for a reason. Who thought they would have fired John Robinson? But he fired John Robinson for a reason. They brought in Rand Carthon for his ability to judge and gauge talent. And if you bring in the players and the players ain't performing, who the fuck are they gonna look at first? Because you can't fire the players Because players are the players. If you can cut a player or two, but can't fire the whole team, you're not going to fire the GM you just hired. So who's next?
Who's it always going to be?
Like, if you go with the rookies, at least there's some understanding there.
Yeah.
You don't expect the rookies to just come out balling and win games. You know, at least if you come out with the rookies, there's a complaint. Okay, as an owner, I'd be like, okay, he's doing that. Because right now, if I was the owner, I'd be thinking, I've been kind of making that call. I don't care what you're saying in the press conference, but we need to. I want to see these rookies.
Right.
You see what these rookies in this second year look like to see what we drafted next year.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see where the team goes, from here for the rest of the year, because you got to make decisions 2 and 4, and it doesn't look like there isn't anything that tells us, oh no, it looks like things can get better. It isn't like we've been missing horses due to injury, and they're coming back, and all of a sudden we're going to be healed up. This is a team that's reeling. And now the question is where do they go from here for the rest of the season? They got decisions to make. One of the things though that you brought up, that everybody hates, of course, is tanking. Nobody really wants to. Do they really tank? Even if they did, they would never admit it to us, to anybody. But you know what I'm saying, Antoine, you got to start thinking now. Where are we at for the rest of the year? What happens now? Because it's beyond quarterback. Because you still have a situation. You got DeAndre Hopkins, and that's not going to work out. Not because Hopkins didn't get it done, but because the season didn't get it done, and he couldn't be as effective as they would have wanted him to be. What up,
That's
Joe?
That's the move I want to see. The apparently a GM. I like the little D-Hop, and I'm glad we got him. But if we're packing it in, unless we want to keep D-Hop around to see just to have another receiver around to help a quarterback develop, we signed D-Hop, got him on a moderate deal. Some NFL executive claims that potentially we could get a second round pick for D-Hop. If we could get a second round pick for D-Hop, hey,
peace.
Live long and prosper.
Yeah, peace. Yeah, right. Exactly.
So that I like to and I'm still impartial on the Henry. Like I think Byard and Henry mid-season is just too much to handle for my poor little Titan heart. So if it could work out that way, I'd rather
Answers.
I'd rather keep the Kings.
And where would he go? Where does he fit?
Hop.
Hop?
Henry.
Oh, Henry. Okay, Hop. Yeah, Kansas City, but Henry. Cleveland
Baltimore.
or Ravens. Yeah, Baltimore or Cleveland.
Yeah.
Buffalo.
Oh yeah, Buffalo too. Yep.
Why would why? But James Cook is playing well.
Buffalo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. But yeah, but that which is why I say because Cleveland running back is on they lost him for the season.
And then
Baltimore too. Baltimore always loses their running backs for the season for the past 2-3 years. Like they never have running back. I don't know
Cleveland just lost their second running back for at least for a few games. Couple games.
Yeah, the James Ford cat. So yeah. So definitely Cleveland or Baltimore. Buffalo probably would have been an earlier trade partner if before like you said, Cook came on, but that's what it is.
Yeah, because you got to start thinking.
Dallas could be looking at Henry. I don't know. Maybe
Dallas is another one.
But when you got other running backs that are out there on the market that could potentially be on the market. Saquon could be on the market. So that kind of things like that kind of cloud, what can be done with Henry. So If he ends up finishing out the season with us, I won't be mad. I'd still like to get some more draft capital. That would be nice. That would be nice to get some more draft capital. But I don't want to just give Henry. I don't want to just give Henry up for.
All right. So if it's not Henry,
you're not going to give me something legitimate.
No, I'm saying you're right. You're right. You don't want to give him up just for anything. You got to get something. I mean,
minimum a third.
Talk about Burks.
Yeah,
I know you'd love to ship off Traylon Burks, wouldn't you, Ralph?
I would. I would. I would, because as a first round 18th, he has not lived up to what a first round number one receiver is supposed to be.
Traylon Burks makes me forget that he plays football. I swear to God, you just said Traylon Burks, and I said, "Oh shit, that's right. He's a Tennessee Titans wide receiver,
and he'll be on the field on Sunday."
Hey,
trying to remind you that he does still play football. And that's what he'll be attempting to do. He's gonna listen to this podcast.
I would say availability is the best ability, but when he's in the game, he ain't doing shit either. So
he don't play football. He's on the roster. He's on a roster. He's on a payroll. That's about all he's doing.
So we got Atlanta coming up this week. That's the immediate future. We got Arthur Smith coming to town. The Titans are gonna wear the Oilers jerseys, the Oilers blue. I actually won't be there this week. Antoine is using his seat with his son. They're going to be there this week. I won't be there. So I'm going to miss seeing the Oilers blue in person, but I'm going to enjoy watching it on the screen. And Arthur Smith coming to town. He knows Vrabel. He's actually been he's been kind of quirky in the media this week as well. So maybe they're just kind of going back and forth, playing some gamesmanship with one another, being that Vrabel played a role in his development and everything. They know each other well. Should be a good game, or they could whoop our ass. They got a rookie quarterback, Desmond Ritter, that I was kind of interested in for the Titans at the time that he was drafted, but they got Bijan Robinson, highly talented rookie running back. He looked like he's over his headaches from last week. He missed last week's game. They have a top 10 defense that's been playing well. I believe they're 3-3 in their division or something like that.
Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith.
Kyle Pitts and the former Titan Jonnu Smith. Like I said earlier, the Atlanta Titans. So I think
Tannehill's kryptonite, Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates? Oh, is that the Bengals player?
Yeah, Tannehill's kryptonite. So Tannehill, it's a good thing Tanny ain't playing.
Yeah. We better hope Tannehill ain't playing.
Because that would have been at least one pick, if not two. Bates would have got him.
Tannehill need to play, because then that could be the end of it. If Tannehill plays and Bates is out there and Bates picks Tannehill off a couple of times, they got no choice but to move the fuck on from Tannehill. You brought him back from injury. The owner, Amy Adams Stringle, called down. You put Tannehill out there, and he go out there and dud it up again. He go get Brady will get a phone call before he even get back to the fucking plane. Not plane, but get back to the locker room. Braves. Put these other fucking quarterbacks in the game. If you don't stop this Ryan Tannehill shit, I'm gonna wave Tannehill tomorrow just so you can put him back in the motherfucking game again. That's like
they got Bud Dupree also. But yeah, okay.
And Bud Dupree.
Yeah, I digress. But Bates, because Bates just reads Tannehill like a book every time. So
I want to see Tajay Spears become a bigger part of this offense.
Yes.
In 31 carries, 171 yards. Is also contributing, of course, in the receiving game. I want to see this guy get the football some more. And I'm not saying he's got to get the ball 30 times a game. You still got Derrick Henry there. But while you're deciding what to do, why don't you see – and while we're in the market now to look at these two young quarterbacks, see what tomorrow holds. If you're thinking about getting rid of Henry, you better see what you got in Spears. I mean, yeah, you're trying to get something else, but this kid looks like he could be, starting running back potential.
Yeah. I do like him. I really do like him. I think that this week goes a long way with determining the future because we're 2-4, and if they win this game, we'll be 3-4. Now we're suddenly back in the hunt in a little bit in the division, maybe. Depending on what happens with the Jags, they got a game coming up. Then directly after that, was it Tuesday or Wednesday, is the trade deadline. So if we lose this game, every player we mentioned could be traded out of here. D-Hop, Henry.
Yeah, we could wake up.
They may even find a way to wiggle Tannehill out of here for a 7th round pick.
No, we could wake up to a damn fire sale one morning.
Yeah, or and here's the other thing, and this is where it depends on who plays on Sunday. As long as Tannehill, if one of the other quarterbacks, assuming it's Will Levis, comes in there and plays well, and they win, and now they're in somewhat contention, why are you bringing Tannehill back? If they lose, why are you bringing Tannehill back? So one thing that's going to happen after this game, regardless, it's going to make Vrabel have to face reality, or hopefully face reality on this QB situation, because we wasn't winning with Tannehill. We're 2-4. We were 2-4 with Tannehill. That guy don't put that game. I don't put that game on Malik. So they're 2-4 on Tannehill.
No, you don't put that game on Malik.
No, Malik didn't. Yeah, they were down by 2. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
It wasn't on him at all. I mean, he could have scored, but we wasn't winning that game.
No, that game was already done.
Yeah.
You saw what the Ravens did last week to Detroit.
Remember, didn't I tell you, Raph? Because we had a talk at halftime. I was like, I want to see Malik come out in the third quarter to start the third quarter. Remember?
Yep.
Yeah, because I was like, this game's over. We're not coming back. Yeah, I mean, they made it exciting, but we at no point did I'm like, oh shit, we might pull this out. Never thought it.
So how do you feel like we're talking about the future? I'm still so confused on what the fuck this team is. I know what I thought it could be with some good quarterback play, but some of these things just hadn't come to fruition. Things hadn't come to fruition I thought would be better. And let's not bring up Christian Fulton, so I don't want to hear that one. What are we going to do going forward? What team? What is this team? We lost to the Ravens, but it was a close game. We were in that game, and we weren't really playing that well. And then the Ravens come out here the next week and spank the shit out of 5-1 Detroit. Spanked the dog shit out of them. Was it 30-6? At one point in time, it was 38-6. Was it at one point in time? It was like 31-11 or something.
They steamrolled, they steamboat their ass, man. I mean, that was Detroit didn't know what the fuck happened.
And we know that offense in Detroit is way better than our offense on a regular basis. The quarterback play is better than ours on a regular basis. Detroit has they got some weaknesses in defense, but their defense probably on par with ours the way ours been playing this year. Well, actually, I guess our defense ain't really been that bad.
Yeah, I mean our defense. I think we're in the top 15, aren't we? We're probably. I mean, if I were to guess, I would say we're probably within the top 15, maybe.
I mean, are we?
No.
Are we a
or do we fall off?
Are we a quarterback and a left tackle away from being a formidable team?
No.
Or is it worse?
No.
Like what?
It's worse. It's worse than that.
It's worse because we really can't. We're not pressuring with our front four.
No.
So,
but how much is that? How much is that coaching? Because we had Jim Schwartz in here, and now we're not getting any pressure. Because one thing before we brought Jim Schwartz in, one thing we was pissed about, like how come he don't bring no fucking pressure? So we kind of our defense kind of gone back close to where we were before we brought Jim Schwartz in as a special assistant to the defense, whatever his fucking role was.
Yeah, we need more than 2 pieces though.
Oh yeah,
3 pieces. We need more than 3. I forgot quarterback. I know we did.
Because not only do we need them pieces, then we need quality depth behind those pieces.
Yeah.
Right. Offensive line. Half that offensive line got to be replaced. Okay. I mean that you start right there.
It's 2, really. Well, if you count Chris Hubbard because he's a temporary fill-in, we need to figure out the left tackle situation. We need to figure out the left tackle situation, and we need to figure out the Aaron Brewer situation, and then we need to figure out potentially figure out right tackle if we're not going to bring Chris Hubbard back as a piece, as a holding place piece. We still got Jalen Duncan.
I think we almost have to bring him back because we got so many holes. He's been solid.
Like Duncan is supposed to be a premier from an athletic standpoint, from having the skill, the tool set, and the physical tools to be able to be a great left tackle or a great right tackle. He's supposed to have all of that. They question whether or not does he love football enough, and not necessarily does he love football enough. Can he find the dog in him? And he got some technique things to work out. So, right, maybe this year was, because they didn't cut him. He's still on the roster. He ain't played a single game as bad as our offensive line is, but they won't cut him. So obviously they see something. They won't waive him and take the chance of him trying to get him to the practice squad. So they must see something. So maybe that's a future piece, right? So that's the offensive line situation. We definitely looking at 3 that we need to like. I think he did. I think Rand did a good job with drafting Skoronski. I think Brunskill has played well. I think Brunskill can fill that gap I think he has the opportunity to fill that gap for another year or 2 to buy us time so we can fix the left side of the line, which is the side that needs the rest of that side needs fixing. There's the center to left. Because
too many pieces.
Up out of here.
Yeah, too many pieces.
Aaron Brewer's about Ralph size out there playing.
Okay. Too many seasons. Too many pieces to fix. We better get ready. We better get ready for some losing and mediocre and to losing seasons around here for a little while we're waiting for this new stadium to come about. Because this is a bad football team that's not going to get better any time soon, and they're about a half a dozen players away.
Now you don't believe. Now we're talking about the future. We're talking about currently we have 7 draft picks. We don't have a 4th round pick. No. Yes, we don't have a 3rd round pick or a 4th round pick. We don't have a 3rd round pick. So that's what we're missing. We have, I think we got 2 6th or 2 7ths or something like that. Anyway, so we almost got a full complement of picks. If we can get a couple of pieces, if we can trade another piece and get another pick in, couple of picks in, that would be nice. We have the most salary cap room, second most salary cap room going into next season. There are going to be players hitting free agency, some significant players hitting the free agency this next coming year. Rand's specialty was pro player personnel, before he really dived into scouting college. So that's how he made his bones, was pro player personnel, finding the free agent picks, he's definitely got to, like, when you look at what he recently did, only one we're really talking about, because the tackle class is trash. We're talking about Dillard. Dillard is the big fuck up there. What about the rest of his picks? The rest of his, not picks, but the rest of his free agency class, as bargain basement as it was, seems to have, for the most part, worked out. It's outside of Dillard. Hubbard, Brunskill, D-Hop, who else? It was Al-Shaair. Now Sean Murphy-Bunting, he's been up and down, but generally he's solid. Like, when you think about that, based off of that, when you take what he brought in and the percentage of hits, I'm not so convinced that it's going to take us years to rebuild. This could be, if they go ahead, to Antoine's point, and make the firm decision now, in time for the trade deadline. If you want to wait to make it after the Sunday, that's fine. But make it after Sunday and make moves before Wednesday at trade deadline. And then with all that money and get some more picks in, maybe this could be a 1-year turnaround and we're back in contention. He already started the process, though. But he's already started the process. So you think we're 3 years off? We think we're 2, 3? How long? You're saying no, Ralph. Then why don't you tell us?
I don't know. First of all, I don't have the answer. But go ahead, Antoine. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we don't know. But what we do know is, if we continue with the asinine behavior of trying to start at Tannehill, and we may win an extra game or two, which could negatively impact our draft position to where we could get a stud to shorten this rebuild window. So I'm saying it starts now. The clock should start now, as opposed to waiting till the season play out and then another 2-3 years before we're good.
I nodded my head, Joe, because, look, there's nothing right now that indicates, because, Derrick Henry, what's going to happen? I don't know. We'll see what happens with Derrick Henry. Eventually, he's going to be moved. The question is when is he going to be moved, not if. Tannehill's gone. You don't have a quarterback. You don't know what you have in that. You got a defense that's decent, but so many holes to fill. When maybe we have two different definitions. I don't see anything and no scenario. And by the way, you were talking about Rand Carthon and like recruiting players to come in, free agents or whatever. First of all, is Nashville a destination?
Yes.
Location for NFL players?
It is now.
Is it because you say so because you're here? Because I don't know about that. I don't know if Nashville's a place where star players want to be, and you're gonna have to get at least two of those.
D-Hop came, didn't he?
Yeah.
T. Higgins said he's already looking at Tennessee.
Right. I'm just saying. For me, the rebuild, whatever you want to call it, has to result in a different football team. A different football team that we've been looking at for the last several years. A different football team that's going to be in Nashville, get ready for the new stadium by winning football games, making the playoffs, making a couple of deep runs. And right now, there's nothing on the horizon that makes me believe that that's going to happen in any time in the next, 2 to 4 years.
When I'm looking at what they drafted last year, and the relative athletic scores of these players that we're drafting, we're changing that philosophy already. The philosophy was with John Robinson, we want blue collar lunch pail guys who are going to come in here and work hard and They may not be the most athletic. They might not, but they're going to work hard and they're going to figure it out. And that's the type of guys we want. We're rough and tough and whatever. No, that's changing. They're going and getting. They're looking at the athlete first. Can you physically do the job? Do you have the athletic traits that we're looking at? This is one of the highest, and from an athletic score, this is one of the highest highest athletic draft classes we've had in quite a few years because they've been so focused on blue collar guys. They're trying to change that now, and so I'm gonna go take the stance of I'm gonna run with Rand. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run with Rand based off of his track record at his previous team, based off of what I've seen him, the moves I've seen him make so far. Left the tackle market was trash. You brought in Dillard, you paid him too much damn money. Okay, trash move. Everything else so far is looking pretty good. The other questionable move is you traded away some picks traded away a 3rd round pick for this coming year to move up and draft Will Levis. Now, and that quarterback, we have not yet seen that quarterback on the field. And so that's the other questionable move. And so if Will Levis pans out, that means the Titans won't be in position to draft one of these high-level quarterbacks, but that's fine because he will have done enough to assuage that concern. Now, if it doesn't pan out, we will be in position to draft one of these other quarterbacks. It's like 3 or 4 of them coming out. You got Caleb Williams. You got Drake May, you got Michael Penix Jr., and then apparently you got Shedeur Sanders. Fuck Bo Nix. Ain't nobody drafting his old ass. He's like 33, still playing college football.
All right, gentlemen, we reached that point to the show where I go straight to Antoine and ask Antoine, cousin Antoine, what are your final thoughts?
I think, man, we pretty much said everything. I'm going to the game Sunday, and I'm excited to see, although my face is not portraying the excitement, but got to see what I'm ready to see what these young cats got, quarterbacks. So, and then we'll be talking about that, I guess, on Monday. Monday evening.
Yeah. Antoine, calm down, bro. You're too excited, bro. Calm down. You calm fuck down. Zoe, final thoughts.
My final thought, aside from seeing what these quarterbacks go do on Sunday, I want to see what Treylon Burks and Kyle Phillips are going to do on Sunday, because those 2 picks are the 2 biggest glaring problems from that draft, that last John Robinson draft. And if these players don't work out, then we traded away AJ Brown for shit, because we already seen where the Malik Willis thing is going. If those 2 players don't work out, John Robinson, on his way out the door, took a 12-foot, 1 foot diameter wide tree trunk of a penis and shoved it straight up the Titans' ass to fuck us for eternity. That's my final thought.
Perpetuity.
My final thoughts just rushed on 2 and 4. 2 and 4. The team has to decide.
No, Mama.
Are we 2 and 4 truly ready to fight for the rest of the season to make a playoff spot? I don't see how that happens, but is that what they're trying to do? Or is this a 2 and 4 of it's time for change? That's what I want to see first. I think that starts with the naming of the quarterback. Get that done. and we see where we go from here. I mean, it's gonna be rough, man. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. It ain't. But, yep, we're gonna stick it through, though. We're gonna stick it through. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is Everything Titans, the NGSC Sports Tennessee Titans podcast.
We're gonna miss you, KB.
Yeah, we're gonna miss you, KB. We're gonna miss you. Thank you for joining us. I'll be back tomorrow, of course. The NGSC Sports Political Show. Attack on the Politicos. And remember, well, what are you trying to show us, though?
No, I was first I was pointing at this, but then he stood up with the KB, and so I started pointing at
Right. No, I knew what he was doing.
Oh, my bad. Tighten up any the fuck way.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Quick snap. Henry, he's going to pass it. Touchdown. Touchdown Titans. There are no flags on the field. Tennessee has pulled a miracle. And that's good. Picked off at the 24 by Byard for the touchdown.
Yeah, that's going to be a quick answer to an incredibly terrible, long question. Just continue to stay consistent and focus on improvement